Genesis 5:18. When Jar had lived 162 years, he became the father of Enoch. And after he became the father of Enoch, Jar lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Although Jar lived 962 years, and then he died. When Enoch lived 165 years, he became the father of Methuselah. And after he became the father of Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enoch lived 365 years. Enoch walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. When Methuselah had lived 187 years, he became the father of Lamech. And after he became the father of Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Methuselah lived 969 years, and then he died. When Lamech had lived 182 years, he had a son. He named him Noah, and said, "He will comfort us in the labor and the painful toil of our hands, because caused by the ground of Lord has cursed." After Noah was born, Lamech lived 595 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Lamech lived 777 years, and then he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Well, here, it's pretty late for Noah to become the father. It's 500 years. It's kind of late. But anyway, let's see. I saw the trend. Firstly, the firstborn, they give a birth to child is from 100 something, then drop to 65, then gradually go up, climb all the way to Noah, 500 years. Then another thing is the age, almost same, 900 something. Only different is Enoch. He's 300. But inside it talk about because he walked with God, so God took him away. I don't know what means walk with God. So just my hypothesis. I think sometimes the greatest treasure within us is not analysis, it's not knowledge, it's not experience. The greatest treasure within us is imagination. Imagination, because think about it, what these Asian people had when they live in a cave, when they live in such boring life, when there is no such music, no nothing. It all came from their imagination. Where the imagination came from? Actually, I highly doubt it. It could be the projected by the wisdom fruit. Those good and evil wisdom fruit, they project the I think some idea or some things to us, so we have imagination. So that's what I believe. If you wanna find a more wisdom fruit and open the brain, use imagination more and more. That's I highly believe. Even in NASA, I believe nothing we cannot do, but a lot of things you cannot imagine. So imagination is very important. Right here, I think possible Enoch, he is the altar boy. I'll say altar boy, or he is a full-time priest. So when his name is and his job, everything is kind of together. Another Enoch from Cain's side is more domination, go conquer all the land. So here is he probably another monk, a bishop, or full-time deacon. I don't know. Just sounds like a full-time, like a church, full-time people with God. Those divine people. So that's, they say he walked with God. He did such maybe missionary job, or the altar boy job for 300 years, full-time, full dedication. Then when say he walked with God is another word I can feel is God appears within the tribe daily or very often. And Enoch is the first one to see, hear, sense, knew God come. So that means he walked with God. He has a really intensive relationship with God. He has some kind of talent. However, why God took him, such good person, such useful puppy, why God took him away after 300 years? Because good. So God wanted like help him to stop suffering the really bad living situation on the earth, or God doesn't want him to know himself too much. I don't know. I just sense here I need to do more research, because it just said because he walked with God so good, God took him. It didn't say like it's good or it's bad. And God just let us, through the Bible, through other people's mouths, tell us this guy have intensive relationship, so I took him early. But think about it. Don't you think to live long is a blessing, and live short is some kind of cursing, is painful things? See a lot of kids like die early, a lot of genius die early, and people die early, we feel sad. But when people go like 996 years or whatever, just like in the Bible said, Noah's father, I believe, is the longest person lived. Only a couple years difference, right? Maybe, yeah, a couple years longer than his ancestors. It's already considered the longest living. So they consider it's a blessing. So it's a really opposite of a way to understand the concept. Another thing is, I noticed that people's name are pretty much very same name. Both two tribes, they are far away from each other, but they give their people's same name, or they just very similar name. I don't know, is there someone between it, or will pass the message around, so some name will become very popular so that everybody adapt to it, or just like some kind of name will be only give to a certain person. The others, you don't need a name. Even like see, Adam had a kids, like for example, Lamech had a kids only recorded Naomi, yeah, and another son. Same thing here, Noah, 3 sons. So only very important name people eligible to have a name in the history. That's what I think that time. So all other people just yo, dada, hey, just I guess that's just they even not qualified to be a name, a number, a symbol. That's so sad. Chapter 5 made me start to think about those people who has name. Also, they left their some little bit the legacy in history. For example, it's a very famous one, Enoch. Enoch, they always say he walked with God, so he was only 365 years old. God took him away. I try to understand what does walk with God mean. At the beginning, I thought it's outer boy, right? And he's a very religion person. But I put myself at that situation. That time, the whole environment is not as peaceful as right now, and the people survive, people healthy, all kinds of things. They all rely on God, all rely on God's. So when someone walk with God, means who has the capability, able to walk with God, showed what kind of unique things so made him to walk with God. Everyone can walk, but you have to be qualified, right? So I try to think Enoch, what is he capable of doing? Let's just think maybe he is the wizard, or he's a wizard, or he's I guess he showed a lot of special power, because that's the direct way people called you have the power of a God, or God give you power or something. I believe that's he showed in front of his people, because his identity probably is more high priest, son of a high priest, or he's a high priest. But the ways he was doing is just maybe help people for cure their pain, or showed a lot of a special power, even maybe can flow, whatever those things. Actually, a lot of like a special power people, they have a itty bitty this, itty bitty that. But you know what? I noticed their life expectancy is short. They don't live longer. I didn't see many those qigong or high power or whatever, those kind of people can live all the way to 90, 80. A lot of like 50, 60, 70 is already considered long. Some genius people live to like 30, 20. So why he lived that short, I think that probably makes sense, because one is he overdrawed his power, so he lived short. That means there is some kind of way to open our body treasure inside of body, so we can burst it out, but the whole life will be short. Or another way is maybe God doesn't want him live longer, because he knew God, or he knew gods. He has certain ways to show the God's power. It's not God wanted. God wants some kind of development, actually gradually, instead of people gain the power of God. That actually fits God's character. At the beginning, remember Abel. Abel is a sneaky boy, but Abel, he made God love his meat and fat. So God's character was showed. They like bloody things, they like barbecue, they like fat. But as a king, as a high power person, do you think they want you know them? No, they don't want to unveil the truth of themselves. They want to cover themselves. So Abel is intellectually, he's get inside the God. So God find a king to get rid of this one. No. Then Enoch, well, is a good sidekick, good assistant. He has the capability, and he develops certain capability, and you know what? Too fast, too good, and I don't want you to have that. You may have a little bit, but you maybe have too much, so you die early. That's what I think. Also, Noah. Why Noah 500 to get give a birth to 3 sons? Usually they give a birth like 165 or around 100, right? So that's their kind of mature, their age. They start to have sex or start to mating, to really sincere mating. But when Noah is 500, that's like halfway of life. If you make us 90 as a human, 900 as a human, 90 years old. So 500 is a 50 years old. So Noah is really, it's a really like an old daddy. So at this time, in other documents said Noah married with hold on, let me see. Another Lamech's daughter, Namai, I think it's Namai or Namaya. The girl's name is a Pleasure. So I thought about what kind of women will leave the name or people call them Pleasure. Sure, they cook good, it's called Pleasure. Also another is that kind of in the document say she had a couple men. She has a relationship with a couple men. So that made her famous, called the Pleasure. So is that because she has an affair? No, because that time there is no such things called affair. I think it's just she's more open. She's more open-minded, or she has more lovers. And Noah, I don't know what reason Noah can't find any female. He has to marry with that girl, Nami or Namaya, that girl. Especially there are 2 tribes far away, right? So is there any reason, or they have to, as a big tribe, kind of give the order, or to order the marriage? But it was interesting. Noah married with this lady, and that time he's old. He's very old. I mean, 50 years old to have kids. It's considered old. Even right now, it's considered old. So it's interesting. Also, his 3 of his sons, very interesting also. I'll figure out later. I sense Asian time, people are very boring. I mean, very boring. So they live 900 years, and what can they do? Just eat, sleep, mate. Not all the time mating, because not enough women. Also, I sensed the women and the men, when they say, okay, one day they sleep, they have a kid. So feels like their pregnant time is not necessary 10 months. Also, they're like they gonna horny. It's not like a necessary like a human right now. Anytime you stimulate and you get a quick. Everything kind of slow, in a slow motion. So maybe their body structure was changed after the flood, maybe. But anyway, I think most of their life is pretty mono, mono, it's just a simple, singles, one thing, maybe just doing one thing and a repeat and a repeat. So what make them excited or make them to remember it, to talk about it? Because I believe language, back to Sumerian, back that time, all the language already well developed. In the Zechariah Sitchin, his book, talk about the Sumerian written things. People talk about the life, death. People talk the mother, how to comfort a baby, all those things. They have a really good, well-structured language civilization. But I didn't see many about the crime, capitalized, death penalty, all those things. So I think a normal death, live then die, normal death is way too normal for them. So nobody really give them about the death. Only something early die or something suddenly appeared death or some abnormal way of die will draw their attention or will make them kind of excited or to remember it. Because I remember a lot of a human culture. You see the early time you take someone for the head off or guillotine. So many people gather in the squares and they hooray for that. They love for that. They want to see the death. Even they kind of so scared, they still want to see it. And it's something within, deeply buried in their mind. Life is so boring, so kind of lack of things to stimulate them. They need to be remembered. They need to feel the existence. So even they cannot, or they scared of get a head chopped off, but they want to see others, because we are the same kind. These kind of feeling reflect on themselves, make them little a shaking, little happier, little memorable. I think that's also, it can apply into people like to see a little chicken, little duck, little tortured animal, those things. So those extended emotion will make them feel the existence. I believe Enoch, the way of Enoch disappeared earlier, made him to be remembered. So that's just imagination. Possible Enoch is a wizard. He can use some extreme power, and but God doesn't like that way. And I think God just toggled or adjusted his gene, adjusted his life switch, make him vanish. Or even you can talk about self-burning, those kind of self-combust. It's possible, right? Just that's from my view. Enoch, his death is abnormal, or just some people may not describe the way of his death, because when he walked with God, he acted like God. And think about how God appeared in the Bible. Sometimes boom appear as a fire in the fields, right? Sometimes boom appear like lights. Yeah, it's possible. A lot of monk in Tibet, before they die, they gradually their body shrink and change it to the lights. So it's possible. Enoch does the same thing. So his abnormal way of a death made him, I believe, people call walk with God, and God took him. It didn't say God pleased. It didn't say God pleased, God love it. It just like, think about it. Abel, God like it. God like the meat, the fat, right? But it just say he walked with God. God didn't show his emotion. Just he's a very handy altar boy or very handy one. I guess. Okay, that's about Enoch. Bible didn't say Noah he married before or whether he had a children or not. So I can't assume he had. Nor I can assume he doesn't. So let's just stick with his name Noah, because he was a highly expected. Because his name is God. He will help us work out the curse, right? So he's the kind of leader, or he's the hope of everything. And how could such a high expected noble family member or leader just till 50 to have a kid? Should a lot of female, a lot of other tribes want to get a mate with him a lot? Get his seed. I think we need to look a little higher from the God's view, because when God used women as a helper, Naamah, the girl from other tribe, basically they are far cousins, I think, or whatever relationship, but it's way too far. So, but the girl Naamah, her character is pleasant. She can play drum, she can sing, and she can persuade. So a lot of in later the collection of the animal, she did it for Noah, and Noah doesn't have that capability. I think Noah's character is more like more stone-headed. Just say yes, okay. Say no, that kind of type. I feel that's the reason God chose him. But I think God want monitor the progress of the seeds, the wisdom seeds. So he preserved Naamah as the king's side of the bloodline. Then he preserved Noah as the male side. And they have 3 kids. One called Shem, one called Ham, one called Japheth. But the funny thing is, all 3 names are kind of reflect their characters. And all those characters, I think, is a perfect in future sealed environment in the ark. Yeah, because think about it. One Shem is more like a bluffing, lie. So that's his character, right? His character. He like that kind of things. Well, what kind of people like to lie or bluff? Little unconfident, and maybe little live in the fantasy land full of imagination, and shameless, I guess. What about Ham? Ham is hot or warm. So the ark is very boring. Only 8 people, right? All the animals, and you need someone with the more emotional support. And when everybody getting kind of down, you need someone to have a warm character, or to cheer everything up. So you have a more emotional things, so hot or warm, like a local, like a Hispanic things, local. So when mom plays drum, maybe local start to sing or play guitar or some ukulele, something. I think that's just my imagination. Another son, his
elder son, Japheth, is more, let's say, like may he extended and the beautiful, which means he had a well education or but his attention or the blessing he received, they think he will go make the territory, make the tribe go extended. So that's the three-son character. One is little kind of like a lie, bluffing, that kind of things. One is a little emotional. Another, the elder son, is with all the role model. That's his family. God, I think, planned the great flood far early. So it's like thousands of years, he already started to plan these things. He liked to wash his samples, make all the sample new selections. So when he promised us not to use the water to wash us away, I have another thought. Well, after 1,000 years, will he use fire or use earthquake or use AI, whatever, something to wash us away? I don't know. That's my thought. When we talk about three sons, their character, we always think, oh, bluff or lie is not good. No, I think a bluff or lie actually is good for the human being, because a lot of people, especially when people has no hope, no storyteller, they live in a dark age. So the imagination, the illusion, those kind of bluffing things stimulates and create something illusion for them, create a word for them. So I believe the bluff, the lie, those kind of character actually is a vow, a stress releasing vow. People have to, at a certain point, live under a self-cheating or cheating each other, lie to each other, even we call some white lie, whatever. They have to. That's the way to ease themselves. And you can't live all the time rationally. You can't live all the time like a role model. The life is meaningless. Also, when the second son, Ham, he got a warm and hot. Hot is kind of like local, is more crazy, right? That's another way of change the past, change the trial. You have a mutation. You have a suddenly a inspiration to make you have the encouragement to do something. And even after that, all your adrenaline go down and you feel like, oh shoot, what I did. But you know what? That's a new word. It opens a new word. So even these two characters looks like not that good, but actually they are good. They are very in need. Indeed, they are in need. But if without Japheth, the bigger son, his self-exam and his more like extended, may he extended, this kind of character, the Ham and Shem, their character will become a internal issue, because all those characters, if without exit point, they will wear ourselves out, because eventually we human, we are sober, we have to watch, we have to get the new things, we have to face the reality. So I think it's a perfect perfect three characters, and within us, more or less in you, in him, in me. We need bluff, we need lie. You can't have a total honest people. When someone, I'm total honest, full of shit. And when someone say I'm total rational, that's also a BS. When someone keeps total rational and self beauty all the time, without any passion, without any lie, no, unless dead people in the cup. Okay, that's what I gained from this whole story.